This is my R33 GTST Skyline that I found in some dude's backyard. And over the last 5 months, we've been doing this thing up as best we can to get it in the most pristine condition possible. Alright, we are back with another day working on this ugly old thing. Yeah, today is an epic day. We have all of this stuff here that we're hoping to do at some point. Probably not today, but today is a massive day. Today we do a pressure test on all the cylinders, which would be great to see how well the engine's actually running. We're going to try and do a diagnostic test. We need to do the timing belt and we need to replace the dashboard because, as you guys saw in previous videos, it's cracked. And Dad also wants to do the water pump for whatever reason. I know why. He said because we're already in there, we may as well do it, which is fair enough, but Seems. So yeah, big day. Right now, we need to, when we did the spark plugs in that previous video, we need to go through that process again, take it all off. Yeah. Epic. To test the cylinder pressure, we need to access the spark plug wells again, which means taking off the charge pipe and removing the cover. Once all that's off, we can remove the coil packs, and while we have the coil packs off, we can test them to see if they're actually getting charged through them, because if they aren't, then a cylinder will probably be misfiring. Then, once we test those, we can move into the cylinders, which we simply just screw a gauge into and then rev the car till a reading comes out. Easy as. On the agenda right now is pressure testing the cylinders to make sure that the engine is actually running properly. We have a feeling that there's a misfire somewhere, but right now, while we have the coil packs open, we're going to do those, test that like the coils are getting enough ampage, and then we're going to pressure test it. So very, very exciting. This is honestly like the final stretch of things that we need to get done. So this is incredible.
I'll be taking that.
Oh, and also, do you like our little resting spot for the dashboard? Honestly, one of the most dodgy things. We've done so many dodgy things before. To old mate who commented on the last short of, why didn't you just use, I put a short out, and this, when we like knocked the suspension off, and it just like bounced out. And he's like, why didn't you just like compress it and then take it off? It would have been much safer. And I just said, yeah, but we're not lame.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And then I was like, nah, but realistically, we didn't need to do it because we weren't changing the coil, so it didn't matter.
We do have a compression
Yeah, I know.
tool.
Dodgy things here first. So that is actually really, really bad because if that thing falls off and breaks, we've spent a few $100s for nothing. Alright, so after some mucking around, we realized that we were trying to put the multimeter into the bottom of the coil pack there, but turns out that you need to put it, like that middle one there is the ground, and that's the input. So we need to put them on those, and then it'll spit out a reading. Comes up with a reading there. It's not very accurate, but it's telling us that it's putting out something, so that's good. Alright, game plan now is we need to disconnect the fuel pump fuse so that when we're running the engine and everything, it's not pumping fuel into it, which could be bad if we're doing a compression test and things could explode, I'm guessing. Where's our array of random stuff? The box of random stupid things. Well, also, I completely forgot. We got a new handbrake.
But I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
So supposedly it's like a professional, or not a professional, but like a drifting handbrake. So you like lift it up and it locks. And then push it down and it just drops immediately. Pretty epic. So we found where all the fuse things are. The problem is we don't know which fuse it is because it doesn't have the cover on it and we can't find the cover. Because there's our box of completely random things that No one knows what any of this is, except for this. I can guess what that is. But yeah, so we got to figure out which fuse we're undoing, because then we can stop fuel entering everything. We ready? Or am I waiting?
We haven't connected that.
Anyway, while we're here, thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. But yeah, we're really keen to keep going with these things. Obviously, we're going to go until this car's done, but I'd love to keep going doing up cars. It'd be so much fun. Expensive, but fun. So yeah, thanks so much, guys. Stick around for the next few. If you haven't seen the last ones, go watch them. They're epic. But yeah. Attempt number 5. Well, not attempt 5. Cylinder 5.
27.
Nice. You said the 6th one is normally the dodgy one, hey? Yeah. Alright, so cylinders are all clear. They all went up. Dad got the readings wrong. So the first one was 126, 127, and then they all went up from there. And the 6th one is good, which is really, really positive. So now that we know that the cylinders have good pressure, we can go on to check the injectors, which we probably won't do today. But next we're going to plug in a diagnostic tool, see if that spits out anything, and if it does, what it's telling us, because we think there could be electrical issues. There also might not be, so we're just really curious to see what this thing says. Yeah, that's the next step. Now, in preparation for changing the timing belt, we decided to flush the radiator one more time once we had taken it out, and towards the end of draining it, this mud or rust just started pouring out, which was definitely cause for concern. However, after a little bit more flushing, and once we drained it one more time, it was all good. So it must have been sitting at the back somewhere when we flushed it last time, and we didn't flush it enough. When in doubt, make something exceedingly stupid that actually works really well. Because I don't even know how that worked, but it did. It even like bent properly so that you could get around things. It's great. I already know. Jesus loves you guys so much. He changed my life 5 years ago, and yeah, I've never been the same since. So I want to declare him on this channel, and while it'll all be about cars, Jesus is still the main thing. So yeah, he's really, really important to me, and he loves you guys so much. He freed me from so many things that I may go into at a later video. But yeah, I had a radical encounter with him 5 years ago, and it changed everything. So thank you so much for sticking by and watching these vids.
Always have to go through that whole process again.
Yeah, just saw that there's some cracks, and obviously these, which we've seen before when we moved it. So we probably need to replace this, which is grim, but necessary. The timing belt is one of the most crucial parts of the engine. Not only does it obviously time the engine itself, but it's what stops the camshaft and the cylinders smashing into each other. If the timing belt is off even slightly, the camshaft will, instead of pushing the cylinders up, when the cylinder comes down, it will smash into the camshaft coming up, which ultimately spells the end for the engine. I really didn't want to do this, but labour and cost for getting this done is insanely expensive, and nothing has gone horribly wrong yet.
Not yet.
So, why not? Now, to get access to the timing belt, you need to take out the radiator, which we had already done, as well as the fan. But what takes so long is undoing all 3 fan belts, because instead of the usual single band that goes to the alternator, fan, and whatever the third one is that everyone forgets about. But once all those are off, it's amazingly simple to undo the cover of the timing belt. Right. Now that we've seen that the water pump is all good, not the water pump. Timing belt is all good. We're gonna leave it because there's no point redoing this. We have a timing belt now, so that when it hits 200, we can replace it ourselves. It's only at 141, so it's got ages till we need to do anything to it. So we're in a really, really good position with that. Obviously, we'll look over it a bit more, make sure that we don't need a new one, but we think that the cogs have been replaced and everything, so it looks like we're seriously chilling. That was going to be a massive job, and now we don't necessarily have to do it right now. So that's really, really, really positive. We did just take everything off for no reason, but better that than find out later on that the timing belt is screwed and everything destroys itself. So for those of you that don't know, the boot badge has this epic little like oval thing that pops in, and you can lift it up and put it down to access the boot lock. So that's broken off. There's a little like bit at the back that's broken off, and normally you'd have to aluminium weld that, but you can't because that kind of welding is really, really difficult. So yeah, we're gonna see if she starts up, then we're gonna pull all the crap out of the back and try and pop that boot latch out to see if we can put a screw into it and get it all fixed and whatnot. But let's try and start her. That was so quick. Wow. That was like instant.
Still got that little distance,
Yeah.
not too bad though, is it?
Alright, boot latch is out. So this is the thing we're talking about. It's like the lock, and this just goes in there and then flips up and down. Oh yeah, sorry about my hand. I did it trying to get this thing out.
Uh-oh, Richard!
Because this clips into place like there or something. And then you gotta like yank it out through the bottom of there. And I just ripped it, and yeah, fun times. Anyway, so now what we're thinking of doing is screwing a little like screw into there so that it locks it in place enough to be able to move up and down. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so we found a little washer thing. So hopefully that will just sit in there and stop the screw from going through, so we can let it just sit on that. Okay, so now that that's done, we can put this back in, which will be epic. Getting this out was a massive pain. It was really, really difficult to do. Getting it in is really easy. This clip thing, oh, where do we put it? Just clips into here, like that. So when that clips in, it's really easy to take in or out. So yeah, we just clip that back in. That'll be sweet. Maybe it goes that way. Anyway, it goes some way. You just clip it back in and you're sweet. Here we ran into a bit of a problem. When we put the screw in, it wasn't a flat one. It had one of those rounded ends, which means that it was leaving a gap between the black seal and the boot. To combat this, we tried grinding it down, but ended up taking some of the seal with it. So we bought this quick sealant stuff and put it over the damaged parts of the seal so water and other stuff wouldn't leak in. And it actually turned out really well. Wow! Come on! That's so epic! Look at that. The original badge comes up. Nice. So sick. I'm so pumped with that. That is like one of the most epic things. Badges are so important. So the fact that we still have that one and we made it work. So that wraps up this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. There's still a long way to go on this, so please subscribe and stick around for the next few. If you haven't seen the other ones, go watch them. They're absolutely epic and were a lot of fun to do. There's a lot of crazy stuff in there. We still got to put the dashboard in, so that's going to be fun. Still got to strip the paint off it, get the rest of the rust off, but otherwise, mechanically, this thing is working absolutely perfectly. We ran it before and it ran amazingly, so yeah, very, very excited. This thing is a lot better than we originally thought. I don't think there's actually any misfires going on. I think that the injectors are completely fine. So yeah, it's looking really, really promising. But otherwise, there's a long way to go on this, like I said. So stick around. See you guys soon.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Bam! Finger gun!